Hello everyone, welcome to my Call of Duty World War II Veteran Difficulty walkthrough, and this is Mission 1, D-Day. And this is the first time I'm ever touching the campaign for this game, so I have no idea what the later missions are going to be like, but this first mission, I had to replay this mission so many times, until I finally got a very clean run of it, where I only died once because of a really stupid issue. And this first part right here, I need to talk about this right now. This right here is very difficult to do if you don't understand how this section works. At first glance, it looks like a typical Call of Duty section of just run and pray that you actually survive, but it's actually not the case. There's actual skill involved with this section, and there's a trophy for doing this whole entire section in under 2 minutes without getting hit by the MGs. And I'm going to demonstrate it right here. So, the first thing you're going to want to do here is you need to run for this tank right over here. And then hug this corner over here. Pay attention to the dirt that's being kicked up by the bullets. Wait for it to stop, and then you need to move forward. Run to this part of the area right here, and this will cue 2 of the MGs to start firing at you. But you notice right here, they're projectile-based, not hit-scan-based, so you can actually jump over those bullets. And you have to move exactly like how I do it, and when you're on the left side of those bullets, once you jump over them, you need to dolphin dive into that hole so that they do not hit you. And then right here, you need to wait for a couple of seconds, and then you need to move over to that barricade right over there. Stay right behind here, and then as you're moving towards this corner, start moving, and then don't run directly towards the objective marker. Get near the wall, just dolphin dive into the wall there, and then do the quick time event, which will cue the actual first gunfight of the game. And in the beginning of this gunfight, you need to aim down your M1 Garand and aim for the guy on the left so that you don't take enough damage to get killed by this guy. And then you need to rush all the way over to the left-hand side. There are 2 guys in preset animations. Shoot them. And then there's also a 3rd guy shooting at you, so you gotta be careful of him. They're dead. And go ahead and pick up a weapon. I always pick up the MP40 because I think it's my favorite weapon at the moment, because it's just a very reliable tool. I use it a lot in Call of Duty 1. I use it a lot in World at War and Black Ops 1, and it's still a very reliable tool. Wait in this corner right over here, and let Zuspin take out this enemy. Don't bother going out of the corner, because this guy who he's fighting right now, he can sometimes shoot you, like right here. And you're gonna have to heal yourself with the med kit. And that is something that you're gonna notice about this game. This is the second Call of Duty game where they do not have any kind of health regeneration system. The first Call of Duty game to do this was Call of Duty 1. And this game is trying to be a hark back to that game. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. I actually like the fact that they've gotten rid of the health regeneration system. Personally, I don't think Call of Duty's ever really done health regeneration that well, and I just hate how long you have to wait, and it really forces you to take these fights so slowly, and it just makes it very hard to win a gunfight. But with this, because of the fact that the medkits can heal you very quickly, and they heal about 50% of your life, and the enemies don't really kill you that quickly, it's a really fun difficulty. Although, I was honestly surprised that they gave medkits for veteran difficulty on this game, because in Call of Duty 1, on veteran difficulty, I don't think you actually got medkits. You had to do the whole entire mission without dying, or like without taking any damage, if you wanted to actually scrape by so easily. And there were some pretty grueling encounters in Call of Duty 1, last I remembered. And I would like to record Call of Duty 1, but it's on PS3, and I can't record PS3. But Call of Duty 1 was such a fun game to play. I replayed it so many times on recruit difficulty, and I touched it on veteran a bit, and I don't know why I stopped. I think I went on to other games, but I still need to return to Call of Duty 1 when I get the chance. This game, having done this first mission so far, it's kind of given me that urge to play Call of Duty 1 again. Although I know for sure that when I return to Call of Duty 1, it's not going to feel very good. Like, you couldn't sprint in Call of Duty 1, for instance, and you had to actually equip grenades to use them, and you died very fast on Call of Duty Classic, and just the fact that they chose not to put in any kind of medkits in veteran difficulty was really one of the weird designs that that game decided to favor. Ooh, and also, I'm using a mechanic right now known as leaning. So, whenever you're near a corner and you aim, the game will automatically make you lean. And while this may seem like a cool idea, there are times when it can be a hindrance. And while the lean does allow the enemies to not hit you so frequently, there are times where it can put you in a very dangerous position because of how automatic it is, and you can get shot because of it. And go ahead and take this path right here and clear out the enemies that are in your way. You might have to go into this corner where I'm at right now, because there are times when the enemies can be a little too aggressive and they can damage you easily at the first corner that I was using. Now, right here, There could be two Germans sitting along this cover right here, but they're not there. There could also be a guy running on the right path right there that you saw just then, and that can be problematic, but just make sure you pay attention to those areas and you'll be fine. Once you clear out those enemies, wait for Zussman to go inside of the bunker, and then once he goes inside of the bunker, take out the guy who's on the MG42, and make sure you clear out the stragglers, and this is all well and good. And that is the first bunker that has been cleared. Now, another thing that they've added with this game is a squad ability system. So if you look at the bottom right, you can see Zussman's portrait and also a medkit icon. So when you kill enemies, you charge up that bar. If anyone remembers Black Ops 3 with the specialist system, you had to actually kill enemies in order to charge up your special weapon, or you could just wait for it to regenerate. But on this game, you have to actually kill enemies specifically. And this allows you to gain access to certain abilities specific to the character that's with you. So with Zussman, he has the ability to give you medkits. And then once you meet up with the sergeant at the end of this mission, he has the ability to give you ammo, but it's completely pointless because that whole sequence at the end is just a waiting game. And right here, don't bother killing the guys on the MG, stun them, run past them, take out the two enemies in front of you, and then try to get over here, because these enemies are going to try to rush towards you when you get over to this exit over here. So clear them out, and then let your team take care of the rest of the enemies. You'll notice that my special meter was charged, so I just asked Zussman for another medkit. It's a pretty cool design, but I just wonder how much it's going to impact the flow of the gameplay, and I'd much rather have a free medkit on me at all times with certain characters like that, and I'm not too sure what other abilities these characters will have. Maybe there'll be a character that will give you the ability to get additional grenades, but I'm not too sure how useful that's going to be, because I think for the most part the medkit is probably my favorite special ability at the moment. And I think with the way the squad abilities are designed, they definitely offer some level of skill. Like, for instance, earlier on in this video, you might have noticed I did something known as a heroic action, where I saved one soldier from being killed by a German soldier. Well, when you do those actions, they contribute drastically to your special meter, so if you don't have a lot of progress on your squad ability, you can use a heroic action to get at least 75% of that bar filled up. And keeping that in mind and knowing exactly where the heroic actions are, you can use your abilities early and then do the heroic actions to just get close to filling it up again. And that's really the closest thing to skill you're going to get with these special abilities. And I'm glad that this special ability system is here, because I think it makes veteran difficulty a little bit more fun and a lot more optimized and a lot more functional. Like, veteran difficulty in Call of Duty 1, there were times where you could get screwed by the checkpoint system, and then there were times where you were put into sequences where it was very easy to take damage. And going back to the checkpoint thing, I remember a moment in Call of Duty 1 where a checkpoint triggered randomly, and it spawns me in the middle of a guy meleeing me, and if this guy hit me twice, I was dead. So I was just put into an endless loop of me getting killed by this guy, and I had to fire my gun so many times in order to ensure that I would survive, and it was so stupid that that occurred. And from what I've noticed about the checkpoints on this game, the checkpoints in this first mission don't feel so sporadic at the moment, and I'm hoping that's going to be the same case with the other missions. So if the checkpoints are going to be not so sporadic, and there's actual consistency with when they choose to appear, then I think that's fine, because I'd much rather not get a checkpoint in a situation where I'm in a very dangerous spot. Because if that is the case, then it's just going to lead a lot of bullshit. And furthermore, if the checkpoints are going to trigger consistently at the beginning of big encounters, and there are not going to be so many mid-checkpoints, that's great, because then it means I'll be able to formulate a strategy for the full entire encounter, rather than having to build a strategy around getting lucky checkpoints. Like, it's no different to Uncharted 4 in that aspect, where on crushing difficulty, you could use the encounter select and also the checkpoint system if you wanted to restart the full encounter, or just restart from the middle of an encounter. And I always picked the restart encounter option. Now, right here, go to this side of the room, and take out any enemies that rush towards you. And there are enemies on the other side of the room, and I'm going to use my grenades and also the MP40 to my advantage. And always make sure you cook the grenades, because I have had moments where the enemies have been able to pick up my grenade and throw it back at me, and I think because of the AI nature to these enemies, they have the ability to reset your fuse, which is really dumb. So if you try to cook a grenade and it's just down to like the last second before it detonates, and then an enemy picks it up, they'll actually reset the fuse. I think that's been the case in every single Call of Duty game, and it's really dumb that it works like that. Now, right there, you gotta stand there for a couple of seconds so you can influence the spawning of the enemies and where they actually go into cover, and then eke out of cover ever so slightly, and then throw all of your smoke grenades so that it forms a line of smoke. Don't think for 1 second that the smoke grenades on this game are anything like Black Ops Cold War smokes. They are nowhere near as good. I have been shot so many times inside of the smoke, and that's why I had to throw that many smokes. Like, Black Ops Cold War, the smoke grenades were so reliable. Like, you go into that smoke, and the enemies just stop firing at you so long as that smoke was active. And you could skillfully use smoke as a way to get past some very tough sequences. And a great example of this is the final mission in the Good Ending. Like, you use those smoke grenades to actually set up in a position where you can grab a human shield. And this allowed you to get past certain sequences that just had a lot of enemies. And, you know, getting to that final, like, trigger to end the mission, you had to use smoke grenades if you wanted to survive, but this game, the smoke grenades are sporadic at best, and I've had times where I've been inside of the smoke for a very long time and nobody shot me, and then I've had times where everyone still knows exactly where I am when I'm inside of the smoke, and the smoke is so dense, there is no physical way anyone can see me, yet they still know exactly where I am, and it just makes the smoke grenades just unreliable in a lot of situations, and that's why you have to pop multiple smoke grenades so that at least the chances of you not being shot are increased greatly. And this right here is an on-rail section, and you have to kill these enemies in the right order, and they die from one shot from your pistol. You do not want to get put into a position where you're forced to reload, and every time you complete one part of this on-rail section, the game automatically reloads your pistol. You don't do the reload animation, it just automatically reloads your pistol, so bear that in mind. Don't miss, nail your shots, understand the order in which you're supposed to shoot these guys. Like right here, shoot the right guy, then the left guy, and then the middle guy, and you're gonna be fine. And always make sure that you're dragging in a direction that you're supposed to be going so that you actually move a lot faster. I thought it was just omnidirectional. Regardless of what direction you push the left analog stick, you would just go in the same direction. Well, it's not the case. And then right here, for the next couple of phases in this little on-rail section, which I do actually like, and I think it's diversified in a very interesting way. The order you shoot the enemies is right, middle, and then left. So that's done, and then we're going to drag Zussman along. There's going to be a moment where an enemy will throw a grenade, and then you have to throw the grenade back. First time I've ever seen a Call of Duty game force you to throw a grenade back so that you actually survive. And it's going to appear in a couple of seconds right around here. So there it is. Grab it and then throw it in that direction. And then follow the pattern exactly like how I described, and you'll be fine. And then this is really where I feel the mission should have ended. I feel like this is the perfect way to end this mission, but for some reason we have to do this little sequence at the end of this mission where you're just playing the waiting game. You're going to be in a time sequence defending this area so that the Germans don't recapture it. And it just feels very out of place, and I think it really messed with the pacing of this mission. So you get a new ability right here. You get the ability to get ammunition, free ammunition, but there's never a situation to do it. This just seems like a very odd time to introduce this ability when it's a waiting game section. And you'll notice right there was a transition. Well, it's because I went inside of the barn, and I was trying to melee a guy, but for some reason, when I swapped to my Car 98K, my character pulled back the bolt, so I guess I swapped out of the Car 98K's animation a little too quickly. So when I swapped back to it, it forced me to do the animation, and it prevented me from meleeing. Having realized that error, I just decided to use my MP40, and all you need to do right here is just wait, and you'll be fine. I mean, you can occasionally shoot the enemies if you want to, but it really makes no difference. Your team will already do it for you because there's so many team members on your side. And I guess I'll use this time to go on a couple of tangents, given that there's roughly 3 minutes left in the video. So I mentioned before in one of my Resident Evil walkthroughs that I was going to be doing walkthroughs of the Call of Duty games, but it's not for the reason you think. I mean, you obviously assume that I'd be doing walkthroughs of the Call of Duty games because I actually have respect for the series. I actually like the higher difficulties, and I like the other components to Call of Duty, but that couldn't be more further from the truth. Like, Call of Duty is just the series that I don't really like, and I used to like it, but now it's just become so standardized, and I think it heavily conflicts with the mentality that I've developed for myself. And if I were to embrace the mentality that feels befitting for Call of Duty, I'd be no different to anyone else, and games would just never go anywhere. I mean, this game was definitely influential for its time with actually influencing the direction of first-person games, and it actually did first-person shooters really well. But now at this point, it's just maintaining like such a close tie to its roots that it's just making it very hard for it to change or actually embrace anything that goes beyond just fundamental changes. And so far, I have been liking the recent Call of Duties. I mean, I liked Black Ops Cold War. I did not like Modern Warfare 2019, though. That game was so boring. I played the first 3 missions, and it just got so old, and I just deleted it. And Serapim17 hated that game, and I 100% agree with him. Although I don't really agree with him on the fact that Black Ops Cold War is a bad game. I mean, I do agree that the story of Black Ops Cold War was very underwhelming and not very intriguing, but the set pieces and the combat encounters and the times where you're with Woods, like, those were a lot of fun, and realism mode on that game was really well balanced, and they actually understood how to design a good difficulty. And then you have all the older Call of Duty games, which were definitely the main catalyst for me wanting to do these walkthroughs, because people give them way too much credit, especially Serapim17, and I don't understand why people give the older Call of Duty games any credit. They're so badly designed with their higher difficulties, and people often like to misconstrue the whole idea of difficulty with broken designs and RNG aspects, but that's not difficulty. There's nothing difficult about just repeatedly dying and just hoping you'll get it right. Like, where's the skill involved in that? Like, that makes no sense. Imagine applying that kind of mentality to the real world when it comes to the supposed difficulty of jobs. Like, no one would be getting any jobs. No one would be willing to respect the challenges involved with a job. Like, that right there is just a great example of why I don't appreciate the higher difficulties of the older Call of Duty games, because they're often done very poorly. At least with this game at the moment, I've been enjoying the veteran difficulty. Like, the first mission has been a lot of fun, and it definitely feels like a challenge for all the right reasons. But I'm hoping it's going to be the same case in the other missions, and that's what I was trying to make these walkthroughs for, as a way of hating Call of Duty from a more informed context, but I'm actually liking this game at the moment. And it remains to be seen how the future of my walkthroughs will go and whether I'll actually like Call of Duty in the end. But who knows. That is the end of D-Day. Stay tuned for the future parts. Thank you all for watching, and you take care now.
They weren't on the beach with us this morning.